Hey there folks, Mike Rowe here, and today we're talking about something you use every day, probably without even thinking about it, petrol. It's that liquid gold that keeps our world moving, and it's been doing so for over a century. But have you ever stopped to wonder why, in this age of technological marvels, we still rely so heavily on petrol? That's right, the stuff that powers your car, your lawnmower, maybe even your generator. It's not just about getting from point A to point B. Petrol is deeply embedded in our daily lives. From the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed, petrol is there, working behind the scenes. It's the lifeblood of our modern world, and for better or worse, we're hooked. Think about it, our cities are designed around it, our economies depend on it, and our lifestyles are built upon it. The convenience and reliability of petrol have made it an indispensable part of our lives. Now, some folks might say petrol is old news. They argue that it's a relic of the past, something that should be left behind as we move towards a greener future. And sure, the idea of petrol might seem a bit outdated when you look at those old-fashioned gas stations and vintage petrol pumps. Electric cars are popping up everywhere, and don't even get me started on those self-driving thingamajigs. These innovations are exciting, no doubt about it. They promise a cleaner, more efficient future, and they're making headlines every day. But let's not forget that these technologies are still in their infancy. But let's be real, folks. Petrol isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Despite the buzz around electric vehicles and renewable energy, petrol remains the backbone of our transportation system. It's what keeps our trucks delivering goods, our planes flying, and our ships sailing. It's cheap, it's efficient, and it's got a century of infrastructure built around it. The global network of refineries, pipelines, and gas stations is a testament to petrol's enduring dominance. This infrastructure isn't something that can be replaced overnight, so how does this black gold get from deep underground to your gas tank? The journey of petrol is a fascinating one, involving complex processes and cutting-edge technology. From exploration and drilling to refining and distribution, each step is a marvel of modern engineering. Buckle up, because we're about to take a dirty journey through the world of petrol. We'll explore the highs and lows, the benefits and drawbacks, and the future of this vital resource. So stay tuned as we dive deep into the world of petrol and uncover the reasons why we still run on it. First things first, we gotta get our hands dirty. Crude oil, the raw material for petrol, is found deep underground, sometimes thousands of feet below the surface. It's trapped in rock formations, and getting it out is a messy, complicated business. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to suck thick milkshake through a straw buried in a gravel pit. That's kind of what oil extraction is like. We're talking massive drilling rigs, powerful pumps, and a whole lot of engineering know-how. Once we've wrestled that crude oil out of the ground, it's just the beginning of a long and intricate journey. Extracting crude oil is a feat of engineering and perseverance involving massive rigs and complex machinery. But getting it out of the earth is only the first step. Next, we need to transport this unrefined liquid gold to a place where it can be transformed into something usable. This involves a network of pipelines, ships, and trucks, all working in unison to move the crude oil from extraction sites to refineries. That's where oil refineries come in. These sprawling complexes are the heart of the oil industry, where the magic of transformation happens. These industrial behemoths are like giant kitchens, using heat, pressure, and a whole lot of chemistry to separate crude oil into its various components. Imagine a place where science and engineering converge to break down the crude oil into its fundamental parts. Think of it like baking a cake. Just as a baker uses different ingredients to create a delicious dessert, an oil refinery uses various processes to produce valuable products. You start with a bunch of raw ingredients: flour, sugar, eggs, and through a series of carefully controlled processes, you end up with a delicious treat. Each step is crucial, from mixing to baking, to ensure the final product is perfect. Similarly, in an oil refinery, crude oil undergoes various stages of processing. It's heated, distilled, and treated to separate it into different components. Each stage is meticulously monitored and controlled to ensure the highest quality output. Oil refining is kind of similar, except instead of a cake, you get petrol, diesel, jet fuel, and a host of other products. The crude oil is transformed into fuels that power our cars, planes, and industries. Diesel fuels our trucks and buses, jet fuel powers airplanes, and there are many other specialized products that come out of this process. Each product has its own specific use and importance in our daily lives. And a bunch of other stuff. From lubricants to asphalt, the byproducts of oil refining are integral to countless applications. The next time you fill up your car or fly on a plane, remember the incredible journey that crude oil has taken to get there. Now that we've got our refined petrol, it's time to get it moving. This stuff doesn't magically teleport to your local gas station, you know. We're talking massive tanker trucks rumbling down the highway, pipelines stretching for hundreds of miles, and even ships carrying liquid gold across the ocean. It's a logistical ballet, folks, with thousands of moving parts all working together to keep the petrol flowing. And let me tell you, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Section 5. Filling up how petrol gets to your gas station. After its long journey, the petrol finally arrives at its destination, your local gas station. Those underground tanks might not look like much, but they're the final stop on petrol's long and winding road. From there, it's just a short hop to your gas tank where it can work its magic, powering your engine and getting you where you need to go. It's a simple act, filling up your car, but it represents the culmination of a complex and often invisible process. Section 6. The price we pay, petrol's impact on the planet. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the environmental impact of all this. Burning petrol releases harmful pollutants into the atmosphere, contributing to climate change and air pollution. It's a serious issue, folks, and one we can't ignore. We're talking about rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and respiratory problems. It's a hefty price to pay for our reliance on petrol, and it's one that future generations will be stuck paying for if we don't smarten up. Section 7. Can't live with it, can't live without it. Our love-hate relationship with petrol. So where does that leave us? We rely on petrol for our transportation, our economy, our way of life. But we're also increasingly aware of its downsides, the damage it's doing to our planet and our health. It's a classic love-hate relationship, folks, and one that's not going away anytime soon. We need to find a balance, a way to meet our energy needs without destroying the planet in the process. It's a tall order, but it's one we can't afford to ignore. Section 8. Looking ahead. What's next for petrol? So what does the future hold for petrol? Well, it's hard to say for sure, but one thing's for certain. Things are changing. Electric cars are becoming more affordable and efficient. Renewable energy sources are gaining ground. And there's a growing awareness of the need for sustainable practices. The days of cheap, plentiful petrol might be numbered, folks. But that doesn't mean the end of the road. It just means we need to start thinking differently about how we power our world. Section 9. The future is electric, but we're not there yet. Now, I'm not saying we're all going to be driving solar-powered spaceships anytime soon. The idea of zipping around in a vehicle powered entirely by the sun or other renewable sources is still a bit of a sci-fi dream. But let's not kid ourselves. The writing's on the wall, folks. The future of transportation is electric. It's not just a trend, it's a movement. We're seeing more and more electric vehicles on the road every day, from compact cars to massive trucks. The technology is advancing at a rapid pace, and it's only a matter of time before electric vehicles become the norm rather than the exception. The benefits are clear. Electric vehicles are cleaner, producing zero emissions at the tailpipe. They're more efficient, converting more of the energy from the battery to the wheels compared to internal combustion engines. And let's face it, they're just plain cool. The sleek designs, the quiet ride, the instant torque. It's a driving experience like no other. But we're not there yet. Despite all the advancements, we still have a long way to go before electric vehicles can fully replace petrol-powered cars and trucks. The infrastructure for charging needs to be expanded, the range of electric vehicles needs to be increased, and the cost needs to come down to make them accessible to everyone. We've got a long way to go before electric vehicles can fully replace petrol-powered cars and trucks. The transition won't happen overnight. It will require a concerted effort from governments, businesses, and individuals to make it a reality. In the meantime, we need to focus on using petrol more responsibly. This means improving fuel efficiency, reducing unnecessary trips, and exploring hybrid options that combine the best of both worlds. We need to be mindful of our consumption and make choices that are better for the environment. Reducing our dependence on petrol is crucial. This involves not only adopting electric vehicles but also investing in public transportation, biking, and walking infrastructure. Every little bit helps in reducing our carbon footprint and moving towards a more sustainable future. We need to invest in cleaner alternatives. This means supporting research and development in renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and biofuels. It means encouraging innovation in battery technology and energy storage solutions. The future is out there, folks. And it's not just about the vehicles themselves. It's about the entire ecosystem that supports them. From the power grid to the charging stations, from the manufacturing processes to the recycling of batteries, every aspect needs to be considered and optimized for sustainability. The future is out there, folks. It's within our reach, but we have to work together to build it. It's time to start making the changes today that will lead to a better tomorrow. It's time to start building it. The journey to an electric future is a marathon, not a sprint. But with determination, innovation, and collaboration, we can get there. Let's embrace the challenge and drive towards a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable world.
Du meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste